Hey everybody, welcome right back to the channel. Welcome right back to the channel. Listen, it's been a lot of wild stuff. It's been a busy week with work, but sports has been crazy busy. It's been wild. It's been out of control when it comes to sports. In this video, college basketball alone is going to take up a lot of time when we talk about it. It's been legendary stuff happening, and it's been crazy. But before we get into college basketball and all the legendary stuff that happened, my name is Isaiah Austin, and welcome back to the IDA Kings video production channel. Okay, if you want to know when I post and upload new videos, hit that bell notification. If you like the videos, hit the like button on every video we've done. And if you like the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. It's been greatness going on. Okay, greatness going on. It started up with teams like Alcorn State and Alabama State. Okay, Alcorn State ended up winning by 12 points in that SWAC tournament first round. Okay, that first round game for them, they did a good job winning by 12 points. Monmouth and Campbell, they played against each other in the CAA championship semifinal. So whoever wins this game is basically going on to the final. And Monmouth ended up winning by 10 points against Campbell. Okay, in the quarterfinal in the Southland tournament, okay, Texas A&M CC beat New Orleans by 11, 74-61. Okay, and then in the finale in the Sun Belt Championship, Troy ended up going to the NCAA tournament because they won their conference championship 77-61. And in that SoCon championship final, Furman ended up solidifying their NCAA bid spot by winning their tournament championship as well. Now, in the Horizon League semifinal, Wright State is going on to the final in their next game, and they beat North Kentucky 103-90. In the Big Sky Championship, okay, in that third round, Montana beat North Colorado 95-89. This was a close game right here, though. The CAA Championship semifinal, Hofstra ended up having a close win in the final overtime, made a lot of good shots down the stretch to beat Towson, okay, by 368-65. Okay, and then that SWAC tournament, that first round, Grambling ended up beating Mississippi Valley State 77-52. Okay, blew them out bad. Southern tournament, in the Southland tournament quarterfinal, UT Rio Grande ended up winning against Nicholas 86-68. Big whooping right there. Okay, going to that semifinal. And then Gonzaga in the semifinal beat Oregon State, who made it to the semifinal. Shout out to Oregon State. Was shocking, but Gonzaga ended up beating them in the West Coast Conference tournament in the semifinal. Detroit Mercer in the semifinal in the Horizon League Championship semifinal beat Robert Morris 70-64. And then Eastern Washington beat Weber State in a Big Sky third round championship game. These games have been really, really tight and close too. Real close, 84-79. Although, Weber State was trying to get in there and get a win, but Eastern Washington ended up getting them, ended up beating them. Now, this one was a real fun game. Santa Clara versus St. Mary's. It was a fun game, really entertaining game on both sides. Santa Clara was dealing with foul trouble, but they ended up pulling away, getting past those foul troubles against West Coast. In the West Coast Conference semifinal beat is St. Mary's. That put them in that solidified their tournament spot in the NCAA for sure. Okay, now here's where it gets even more fun too. Okay, it gets more fun. Tuesday was getting even better, right? The Big 12 tournament first round, I think it started on that Tuesday. Okay, Arizona State beat Baylor 83-79. In the second round, in that SWAC tourney, Prairie View beat Alcorn State 65-56. Okay, in the first round of the ACC tournament, I believe this was also the first game on Tuesday, first game for the ACC tournament games. Pitt ended up beating Stanford 64-63. Stanford needed that win. Okay, they were on the bubble. Now they probably won't make the tournament after losing to Pitt. It was a close game, hard-fought game, really good game right there. Okay, in the first round, Cincinnati needed this win in the Big 12 tourney against Utah, and they got it 73-66. Big one. In the ACC tournament, SMU needed this win too, and they beat Syracuse 86-69. Maryland in the Big 10 tournament first round, first set of games for them in the Big 10 tourney, ended up beating Oregon 70-60 in that first round. Okay, UMBC put belt to the booty against UMass Loyola. Okay, beat them down 91-69 in the American East playoffs semifinal. So they will be going to the American East final game. Okay, I believe it was on that Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was that Wednesday. And they play in that game. Missouri State and FIU had a big close win. Good scoring game, close win, close game, close calls, and stuff like that. But Missouri State ended up winning by 3 against FIU in that CUSA first round. That was just the first round game in their conference tournament. Crazy good start. And then the finale, congratulations to Hofstra. They beat Monmouth, and they are going to the NCAA tournament after winning the CAA championship final. Okay, that was a great win for them. In the semifinal, Stephen F. Austin in the Southland tournament ended up winning 60-58 against Texas A&M CC in the semifinal. And then Long Island versus Mercyhurst. Long Island of winning in that finale. They are going to the NCAA tournament in the Northeast Conference tournament. Okay, that's where they're going. Okay, in the Horizon League Championship final, Wright State ended up beating Detroit Mercer to go to the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to Wright State there. Okay, in the Big 12 tourney first round, BYU got a win against Kansas State. They needed that win bad because they've been on the struggle bus real bad the last 2 wins. Last win, I believe, against Texas Tech in the end of the regular season, and getting a big win against Kansas State in the first round tourney game. Great job. Ayu Deont, sorry if I said his name incorrectly. The top 3 pick in the drafts, in this year's draft is going to be, he's balled out. He's been balling out all year. In the semifinal in the American East playoffs, Vermont ended up winning against NGIT 63-54. And then, again, in the ACC tournament, Wake Forest ended up beating Virginia Tech. Big win for Wake Forest in that final OT. Real close game, 95-89. Virginia Tech is most likely not going to make the NCAA tournament after that loss. Northwestern ended up beating Penn State in that first round Big Ten. The first round, the Big Ten tourney. Jackson State ended up winning in the second round against Grambling in the SWAC tourney conference tournament. And then Siena ended up making it to the NCAA tournament because they beat Merrimack 64-54 in the MAAC championship final. Montana in the semifinal ended up beating Portland State 75-72. Great one. And then in the West Coast Conference, that was in the Big Sky semifinal. In the West Coast Conference final, Gonzaga ended up winning their last conference game in the West Coast. They will be moving on to a different conference. They beat Santa Clara 79-68. Santa Clara was fouling too much. They were in the game, but they were fouling too much. They put Gonzaga on the free throw line. Gonzaga ended up taking advantage of it, doing great jobs, especially in that second half. Did a great job in that second half. In the first round in the CUSA championship first round, Jackson State lost to New Mexico State 68-63. McNeese did a great job in the Southland tournament semifinal, having a legendary year. Won in final 3 OT against UT Rio Grande. Rio Grande gave them a lot of problems. Almost had a big time upset, but they couldn't pull it off, and they lost by 4. In the Big 12 tournament, again, another one, Oklahoma State got a big win against Colorado, 92-83 in that first round. And then Idaho ended up beating East Washington, 81-68 in the semifinal of the Big Sky Championship. Now, that was just Tuesday and Monday. Man, listen, it got real crazy the next few days, man. Wednesday and Thursday was really nuts. I ain't gonna lie to you. St. Bonaventure blew out LaSalle in the first round of the Atlantic 10 Championship tourney. Oh my goodness. And then Iowa got a big win against Maryland by 11 points in that Big 10 tourney second round games. NC State beat Pitt by 10 points in the second round in the ACC tournament. Iowa State destroyed Arizona State. I mean, it was a bad situation for Arizona State from start to finish. 91-42, a whooping of all whoopings. Assists, passes, everything was great. Defense was locking down everything. In that Big 12 second round in the tournament of the Big 12. Kentucky had a close win against LSU in the first round of the SEC tournament. Kentucky did a good job, but LSU was trying to pull away, get in there, and beat them. But Kentucky pulled away and said, we're going to win. And they did that. Got that win that they needed. They've been up and down a little bit this year, starting off slow, but ending and coming back. Now they got a big win like they needed. Peer Review versus Bethune in the SWAC tournament quarterfinal. Okay. Peer Review beat Bethune. Real close game, real competitive game, real close game. It was nice. It was a good game right there. 71-67. Richmond lost to Loyola Chicago, okay, in the Atlantic 10 championship first round. Washington ended up upsetting USC. They probably ended their season. Washington ended USC season in the Big Ten tourney and final overtime. Great hard-fought battle by both teams. USC needed that win bad, and they couldn't get it. In the second round, in the ACC tournament, second round, they Louisville beat SMU, so SMU is in a little trouble figuring that stuff out. But that was a heck of a game though from both teams. It was close, but Louisville prevailed and got that win against them. Okay, UNLV versus Wyoming. UNLV ended up winning in that Mountain West first round conference game against Wyoming, and Auburn ended up getting their first win against Mississippi State. They still needed wins in the SEC tournament to have a chance to make the tournament, but they got a big win on that Wednesday against Mississippi State. UCF got a big win against Cincinnati that they needed in the Big 12 tournament, second round. Okay, against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, and they might be out of the tournament, out of the NCAA tournament hopes. Their hopes might have been dashed with that loss. Providence beat Butler in the Big East first round, and then McNeese did something special against Stephen F. Austin in the finale of the Southland tournament in the championship game. McNeese ended up winning, and they're going to the NCAA tournament game. I don't know if Stephen F. Austin is going to get an at-large bid. They probably will get one of those first-round spots in the NIT, though, if they decide to take it. In the Mountain West first round tournament, the championship tournament, first round of it, Nevada ended up blowing out Air Force 80-45. I mean, gave them a whooping, too. In the MEAC tournament quarterfinal, Delaware State beat Morgan State in the final OT. Delaware State and Morgan State was at a battle. That was a fun game to watch. Battle, did great stuff, going back and forth. It was real fun. Real fun. Missouri State ended up beating Liberty 77-69 in the CUSA championship quarterfinal. Okay. Northwestern ended up beating Indiana. That was a big upset. And Indiana most likely will not make the NCAA tournament after losing to Northwestern. Northwestern had two big wins in this tourney. That was in the second round. Northwestern beat Indiana 74-61. Crazy stuff. Xavier beat Marquette in the Big East first round tournament. In the tournament, man, they beat them 89-87. Ole Miss beat Texas. Okay, that was a big loss for Texas in the SEC tournament in that first round game for them. It was bad, man. 76-66. Crazy work. Lehigh beat Boston U, and Lehigh is going back to the NCAA tournament. They've been there before, had an upset win against Duke. Remember, CJ McCollum was there. He's a beast in the NBA. He did great things. He outplayed a lot of those players on the Duke team. And it had longer careers than a lot of those players on the Duke team. But that was legendary from him. But Lehigh's back at it, and we can't wait to see them play in the tournament again. BYU blew out West Virginia. They're on a roll in this Big 12 Big 12 tournament so far. They won their second round game against West Virginia by 20 points, beat down. Okay, American Conference Championship in the first round, Tulane ended up beating Memphis 81-69. I told y'all there's some greatness on Wednesday, some fire stuff on Wednesday. Florida State upset California. California was having a great year. Florida State upset them in the ACC tournament second round. Ooh, man, that was crazy. And then in the WAC tournament, okay, first round, Albany Christian ended up beating Turleton State 84-78. Close game right there. Florida A&M ended up beating Jackson State in that SWAC tournament quarterfinal. Colorado State in the Mountain West Championship first round beat Fresno State. And then in a close game, too. That was a real good game by both teams. Close game right there. And New Mexico lost to Sam Houston in the CUSA Championship quarterfinal game. And UC San Diego beat Cal Poly in the first round of the Big West Championship tourney. The Rutgers got a big win against Minnesota in the second round games of the Big Ten tourney. Okay, Georgetown and DePaul played each other a close game, but Georgetown pulled away, got a win in the Big East tournament game in the first round of their game. And then Clemson got a big win against Wake Forest. But I think they're going to have a few more big wins. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But they beat Wake Forest, a good Wake Forest team. Beat them in the second round of their games. They won. And then South Carolina lost to Oklahoma in the first round of the SEC tournament in their first SEC tournament game. For the tournament, SEC tournament game, Oklahoma ended up winning that game 86-74. Man, big win for Oklahoma. Big win. FAU ended up beating Temple in the American Conference, ACC, American Conference Championship, first round, beat them, and then in the Big 12 game, second round game, TCU in the second round beat Oklahoma State. Boise State lost to San Jose State. Boise State in that Mountain West first round game, they're probably not going to make the tournament either after losing this game. UC Davis ended up beating Santa Barbara 79-73 in the Big West Championship in that first rounder. And then the finale, Idaho, congratulations, they have beaten Montana 70-66 in the Big Sky Championship final game to make it into the tournament. Now, this is where it gets real crazy on this Thursday too, even more, because Wednesday was wild. Thursday was out of control. UMass was competitive with Miami of Ohio, ranked 20th in the country. Miami of Ohio was doing what they do all year, real close, found a way to execute down the stretch. But UMass put that pressure on them, kept putting that pressure on them, and they did great things down the stretch, and they upsetted the number 20 team in the country who was undefeated 31-0. And upsetted them in the first game in the MAC Championship quarterfinal. Unbelievable stuff. Legendary. I told you it was legendary stuff. March Madness becomes March Madness. It gets crazy out here in March, and that's what it showed. Okay, now, with that being said, they're trying to say that Miami of Ohio might be playing on Tuesday when it comes to the, playing into the tournament a little bit. I don't know if they will. Their metrics are not bad, and they tried to schedule teams. So I think a lot of teams didn't want to play them, but I understand why. One, they went 31-0, and a lot of those teams might have not benefited. Let's say they lose. Let's say Miami of Ohio upset a few of those teams. They would have been in trouble. The best way Miami of Ohio could get a better schedule is if they play in those tournaments. You know how some of those tournaments be. If they play in those tournaments like in Hawaii or, in other, places like Atlantic, I think Atlantic 10 type tournaments or Atlantis or something like that. But overall, Miami of Ohio had a great year. But I think they'll obviously don't make the tournament. That's not even the debate. The question is where are they going to be seated at? Maybe a 10th seed or something like that. Most likely 9th or 10th. So I think that's where they'll be at. But they had a great year though. But UMass did a great job in that game, and there's going to be two teams in the MAC. I think most likely going to be Akron or Kent State. I'm excited to see what the MAC could prove and show in the NCAA tournament. George Washington in the Atlantic 10 second round tournament games, Fordham ended up losing to George Washington. George Washington won a close battle, pulled away 66-62. Good job. NC State lost to Virginia, the number 10 team in the country, in the quarterfinal of the ACC tournament. Big win for Virginia Tech. St. John's ended up beating Providence, in the Big East tournament quarterfinal. And then in the third round, Ohio State had a bye. They beat Iowa by 3 points. Real close game. Ohio State now plays Michigan on Friday. Plays Michigan. That's going to be a big game for Ohio State. And Iowa was competitive too, but Michigan going to be even better. So Ohio State, they got to try to finish. If they were up by like 10, 20 points, but then they, struggled a little bit down the stretch. You got to finish if you're Ohio State. And Iowa, they had a real good year. I think did some good things. We'll definitely see. I most likely don't make the tournament. Iowa State ended up beating Texas Tech in a blowout fashion, a whooping of all whoopings. Man, 75-53. Now remember, they were out JT topping Texas Tech, but Texas Tech been doing good. I was shocked that they got blown out like this, but not shocked that they lost. Iowa State ended up winning, big game. They did a great job. Kentucky ended up beating Missouri in a real close game. Missouri had a higher seed than Kentucky in that SEC tournament game. Okay, so that was big time in that in the second round, and then Toledo in the quarterfinal of the MAC championship tourney beat Bowling Green by 1 point. Real close game with them. Really good competitive game. The SWAC tournament quarterfinal, Alabama A&M in final OT beats Texas Southern in OT. Alabama A&M in the pulling away. Pulled away on them and got a big win against them. St. Bonaventure beat George Mason in the Atlantic 10 championship tourney first rounder. 63-57. And then Washington was close with Wisconsin. They were close. They were about to win that game. But Wisconsin found a way to get a win in that third round in the Big Ten tourney. Miami upset Louisville, the 24th team in the country. In the quarterfinal in the ACC tourney. Seton Hall beat Craigington in the quarterfinal of the Big East tourney. Great stuff. And UCF, they tried to hang in there, but they couldn't, man. Arizona was way too much, way too big, way too strong, way too physical for them. And it was 81-59 beat down. And then Utah State beat UNLV in a beat down too by 20 points in the Mountain West quarterfinal championship tourney. Okay, that was crazy stuff from Utah State. They looking like the best team in that conference. Just saying. And then Tennessee ended up beating Auburn. Most likely Auburn might not make it into the SEC. I mean, they might not make the NCAA tournament. Just being honest, man. Too many losses. It's just a big problem. But they had a tough schedule, man. It was tough. Their head coach left the program this offseason. I mean, shockingly. So and abruptly. So I feel bad for them. But I don't know if they'll make it. It's gonna be tough for them. That 16 losses, I think 17-16 is gonna be tough. Akron beat Buffalo. Akron is having a great year. MAC quarterfinal. Close game with Buffalo. Great game. Close game with Buffalo. In the Atlantic 10 championship, Drew Joyce Jr. Led his DeQuizney team against Rhode Island, 67-61. Big win. Nevada beat Grand Canyon in the Mountain West Championship quarterfinal. Okay. And that other game in the last 10, that was in the second round. DeQuizney and Rhode Island. And Nevada obviously won against Grand Canyon in that quarterfinal by 4 points. Real close game between Nevada and Grand Canyon, too, by the way. In the quarterfinal of the MEAC tournament, SC State beat Norfolk State 88-82. Purdue beat Northwestern. You know, Northwestern was trying to hang in there, but Purdue pulled away in that third round of the Big Ten tourney. Northwestern, to me, did a good job in the tournament as well. Kent State beat Ohio 86-75 in the MAC championship quarterfinal. Louisiana Tech beat MTSU in the CUSA championship quarterfinal. And by the way, MTSU is Middle Tennessee State University. And then let me tell you something. This is where it got real crazy. Let me tell you something. This was crazy. You know, Florida State had an opportunity to knock off the number one team in the country. Number one team in the country, probably the best team in the country. Probably might be one of the favorites to win. They're definitely one of the favorites. They might be the favorite to win the NCAA tournament. Florida State was really, really tight and close and had an opportunity to make a game-winning shot. They missed it, and they lost 79-80, but that was close. Duke is in trouble if they play like that again in the next round. I'm telling you right now. That was in the quarterfinal in the ACC tournament game. Telling you, man, Florida State really gave them some trouble right there. And then Houston ended up beating BYU 73-66. BYU got another loss, okay, to Houston. That was a heck of a game, though. They competed and fought hard. Ole Miss upset Georgia in the SEC tournament second round, and UConn destroyed Xavier 93-68. Beat down. Okay, Charlotte ended up beating Tulane in the American Conference Championship second round. Davidson ended up beating Loyola Chicago in that final OT. Atlantic 10 championship second round. Southern in the SWAC tournament quarterfinal. Southern ended up playing a real close game with AR Pine Bluff, but AR Pine Bluff lost 81-84 by 3 points. It was a real good game. WAC tournament quarterfinal. UT Arlington beat Southern Utah 69-63. And San Diego State in that quarterfinal of the Mountain West Championship beat Colorado State. Real good win by San Diego State. Kennesaw State in the quarterfinal in the CUSA championship tourney beat Western Kentucky. Good stuff right there. And then CSU Northridge beat UC San Diego in the Big West quarterfinal by 10 points, 80-70. UCLA needed this win bad, and they beat the Rutgers 72-59. They need this win bad. Make sure they solidify themselves, if they can, into that NCAA tournament. They beat them in that third round of the Big Ten tourney. NC Central versus MD Eastern. NC Central beat MD Eastern in the final OT in the MEAC tournament quarterfinal. That was a fun one right there. Real close. Got to overtime. Real fun. Now, let me tell you something, though. North Carolina, I know they are without my man Caleb Wilson. Beast, he's going to be a top 5 pick, but Clemson did a great job. Got another big win in the quarterfinal. They're going to the semifinal. They won by 1 point against North Carolina, 19 team in the country. Upsets are coming in March. I told you. Upsets are coming down in March. Georgetown ended up beating Villanova. Big upset down there in the Big East quarterfinal. Georgetown is going to the semifinal. It's going to be big stuff on top of big stuff. North Texas ended up beating FAU in the American Conference Championship second round. And TCU almost got a big upset against Kansas. But Kansas ended up giving them a 78-73 win, pulled away a little bit in that quarterfinal. Oklahoma beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M was having a great year, but Oklahoma upset them and blew them out by 20 points in the second round of the SEC tourney. That was nasty work from Oklahoma. Dominance from start to finish against Texas A&M, who's a great SEC team and who is an NCAA tournament team. Utah Tech beat Albany Christian by 6 points, 80-74 in the WAC tourney quarterfinal. Okay, and UC Davis, okay, versus Fullerton. Fullerton ended up beating UC Davis in the Big West quarterfinal, 82-70. And in the last game, New Mexico found their way in that quarterfinal. They go into the semifinal in the Mountain West, and they beat San Jose State. Okay, in that Mountain West quarterfinal. Now here we go. This is where it gets crazy on Friday. Friday's going to be a lot of great games before we get into Saturday and the selection Sunday. Okay, here we go. Friday, okay, George Washington is trying to upset St. Louis, who's 27-4, been having a legendary year this year, trying to win in that quarterfinal in the Atlantic 10 conference tourney. Okay, they're trying to upset them. But I don't know if it'll be a bigger upset than if Ohio State beat Michigan in the Big Ten tourney in the quarterfinal. If Ohio State beat Michigan in the quarterfinal, not only will they be confirmed to make the tournament, but they have a chance to not only to get in that semifinal in the Big Ten tourney and win the Big Ten championship. Big Ten Conference Championship tourney. That could be something big. But Michigan, they say it not so fast, though, because Michigan is that good. They only lost twice. Once to Wisconsin, once to Duke. I mean, that's greatness. I mean, Ohio State has to try to get depth from the bench, and they have to make their shots and make their threes. And Michigan just have to show some dominance, use that size, that big strength. Okay, that could be greatness right there. That's going to be a fun game. I'll tell y'all, that's coming on. That's going to be fun. Missouri State versus Louisiana Tech in the CUSA Championship semifinal. That's going to be a fun one, too. Kentucky has a chance to upset Florida, but Florida's a dominant team. They started out rough because they played a rough schedule, but then they said they're going to go in the SEC conference and go in and put in work. And that's what they did. So now Florida is going against Kentucky. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And that's in the SEC quarterfinal. Okay, American Conference Championship quarterfinal, UAB 2011 versus Charlotte. Cannot wait for that. That's going to be a fun one, too. Alabama A&M in the SWAC tourney semifinal is going against Peer Review. That could be a heck of a one. One of them teams are going to go to the championship game in the SWAC. Okay, Dayton versus St. Bonaventure. That's going to be a heck of a one in the quarterfinal. One of those teams, whoever wins, going to that semifinal. Okay, that's going to be a heavy game. Wisconsin and Illinois, that's another big game for Wisconsin in the quarterfinal of Big Ten Championship tourney versus Illinois. I can't wait. That's going to be a fun game. Great game and a magical game right there. Sam Houston's playing Kennesaw State in the CUSA Championship semifinal. Vanderbilt and Tennessee both had great years. Vanderbilt and Tennessee. I am excited to see both of them play. They're playing the quarterfinal, both of them. Whoever wins that game is going to be in the semifinal. That's a heck of a matchup, though. And Tulsa in the quarterfinals playing against North Texas. Tulsa's been great, 25-6. American Conference tourney. They have a chance to not only win the next two games and win the American Conference Championship, but look good and get a high seed in there too. That's going to be a fun one for Tulsa. We're going to see how Tulsa plays against North Texas. North Texas has a chance to upset Tulsa. That's going to be a fun one. Toledo versus UMass. UMass came off that Miami of Ohio win. Okay. And Toledo's trying to get them off up out of there. MAC Championship semifinal. The Quizny is playing VCU in the quarterfinal. Big time. That's going to be a fun one. St. John's playing Seton Hall. That's going to be a good one in the Big East Tourney semifinal. Okay. And then, obviously, like I said, in the Atlantic 10 Championship quarterfinal, you already know. I can't wait for that one, though. Because the Quizny, I got to get back at this. The Quizny with Drew Joyce Jr., after having Keith Dambrot, he's been good. He's been real good as a coach. He's been really good, man. I got to give him a lot of credit and a lot of respect. Shout out to him in that Fab Five with, my man LeBron, Romeo, and then Travis. And I forgot. I'm trying to think of the other name. Apologize for that, man. But they all were legends at St. Vincent St. Mary. Howard versus SC State in the MEAC tournament semifinal. That's going to be a heck of a game, too. And then Purdue versus Nebraska. That's going to be fun in this quarterfinal, man. These quarterfinal games are crazy. These quarterfinal games are as good as you're going to get in the semifinal or final games in these conferences. Oh, man, it's getting crazy. And then another semifinal game, Arizona and Iowa State. I cannot wait. Ooh-wee, baby. That's in the Big 12 tourney semifinal. Oh, my goodness. Man, the Big 10 quarterfinal and the Big 12 semifinal quarterfinals have been crazy, man. And then you got a semifinal in the ACC. It's Virginia and Miami. Oh my, that's gonna be fun. The quarterfinal, Ole Miss versus Alabama. Ole Miss is trying to upset Alabama and trying to get to the semifinal and see if they can steal a bid. They try to steal a bid out here in the SEC. They try to steal a bid. Now here we go. Semifinal, Kent State versus Akron. Whoever wins this game could win the MAC championship and get to the ACC. Get to the NCAA tournament along with Miami of Ohio. Can't wait to see it. In the quarterfinal, in the Atlantic 10 conference, Okay, St. Joseph's, Tway Weddington having a great year versus Davidson having a real good year too. That's gonna be a fun one. And then UConn is playing Georgetown. Georgetown's trying to be a big stealer too. They can win against UConn. They most likely will win. It's the Big East tourney. They might win the Big East tourney if they beat UConn. I'm just telling you right now, Georgia. But UConn say not so fast. We're gonna get them, and I can't wait to see it. In the MEAC tournament semifinal, Delaware State is trying to get to that final and trying to beat NC Central. That would be a big crazy win if Delaware State only gets 10 wins and make the tourney. That would be crazy. Southern playing out Florida A&M in the SWAC tourney semifinal. And then UCLA is going against Michigan State in the Big Ten quarterfinal. If UCLA beats Michigan State in the quarterfinal, get to the semifinal, they will, like Ohio State, would solidify their Big Ten. They would solidify their spot in the NCAA tournament. I really believe that. But let me tell you something. Michigan State saying, "No, we got to beat UCLA, man. We try to get that Big Ten conference championship. They try to get that." Okay, Utah Valley is having a great year, 24-7. Okay, they're playing against UT Arlington in the WAC tournament semifinal. That's gonna be a fun one. USC Northridge is playing against UC Irvine. Both are having great years. Big West semifinal. Can't wait to see that too. Clemson versus Duke in the semifinal. If Clemson can beat Duke, this is gonna be a fun one too. Clemson can beat Duke. Duke almost lost to Florida State. Clemson can beat Duke, but Duke is trying to come back out and play better than they did. I can't wait for that game. Houston versus Kansas. This is going to be fun in the semifinal. Houston has a chance to beat Kansas in the semifinal. Holy Christ. I cannot wait in that Big 12 semifinal. The SEC quarterfinal, Arkansas versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma's had a great conference tourney. They have a chance to beat Arkansas and get to the semifinal. And Arkansas is trying to get to the semifinal and do great things with Coach Calipari. Nevada is playing Utah State in the Mountain West Championship semifinal. That game's going to be fun as well. In the WAC tournament semifinal, CA Baptist versus Utah Tech. CA Baptist having a great year, 23-8, having a fantastic year. Hawaii, 22-8, having a fantastic year in the Big West. The Big West semifinal game, they play against Fullerton. Okay, New Mexico versus San Diego State. Cannot wait. That's also going to be fun in the Mountain West Championship semifinal. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a fun one. Both teams can make the NCAA tournament. That's going to be a fun one, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be great. The next video, we're going to be talking about the NBA, how wild that was, including some special stuff, historical stuff that happened on a random Tuesday. Y'all can't wait to watch that. My name is Isaiah, man. Like the channels, like the videos, and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace out.